Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to get your needs met when feeling isolated. So this is part of the series we've talked about where I'm going to provide to you a whole bunch of resources and tools for a whole bunch of topics that I believe people are facing over the last year and a half, 2 years, or coming up to 2 years. Because I've heard a lot of it. I've seen a lot of comments. I've seen a lot of, we have a lot of emails that come in. I've had a lot of friends, family members, just people I know say things to me like, I'm not feeling normal and I can't really put my finger on why. And I think it's really important for us to take the time to acknowledge that just so many of the changes and stress that's happened on the world, on society, on the collective over the last little while, is going to affect people's mental health. And there's a number of reasons for why. And so we're going to put some resources together for you guys about a whole bunch of different topics on feeling uncertain, out of control, lacking novelty and feelings of freedom and travel and exploration, feeling isolated, anxious, disconnected, lonely, all these different things, changes in job all of a sudden, social anxiety, all these different topics. We are going to put some resources for you guys, and please let me know anything that you particularly want to see, or if you want to share any way that you've been affected, then I just want to put something out there for people, because I feel like the mental health aspect of all of this isn't necessarily being discussed enough. So I'm going to put as much information and share as much, powerful stuff that I can, just as a support system. So anyways, today's version of this is going to be all about how to get your needs met when feeling isolated. And if you notice, my background is different. It's because I'm at my mom's house today, visiting. So, we're going to talk about a few key things in here on this concept. Now, there's going to be 4 major tools when it comes to isolation. One of the first things is we always have a focal point of control to get our needs met in the relationship to ourselves when the outside world feels unpredictable or challenging. So it may seem strange at first, but it's really powerful to get into harmony with the relationship to yourself and be able to meet the needs in the relationship to yourself that you have. And this isn't me saying that we should just exclusively rely on ourselves. I really, truly believe in healthy interdependence, which means having a healthy, empowered relationship to self, which then allows us to have more healthy and more empowered relationships to others, because our subconscious comfort zone is really only primed to receive what we're already effectively giving in the relationship to ourselves. And I'll give you an example of what this means. Let's pretend that I'm in a relationship to myself where I totally put myself down and I criticize myself all the time. Even though I may hunger for encouragement externally and really want that and value that and need that, because my bucket's empty in that area because I'm putting myself down. Even if people do encourage me, there's a hole in my bucket if I'm always putting myself down. I don't believe what they're saying. My subconscious mind is going to go, no, they don't really mean that. They don't really validate or approve of me. They're just finding something to say because they're being nice. And I'm likely to deflect. Or it's almost like the holes in my bucket. It's going to land for 5 seconds and I'm going to be back to discouraging myself or criticizing myself. And even though somebody said something nice, I'm busy 5 minutes later putting myself down again. So it's not sticking, it's not landing. And so we have to become good at meeting the needs that we want to get met from others. That's part of how we actually get needs met from others, is mastering that piece of the relationship to ourselves. Now, how this pertains and applies to isolation is when we can specifically define the needs that we're not getting met when we're feeling isolated. Step 1, to prime our subconscious mind to receive them for others and to go out and create strategies to get those needs met from others, is to get into healthy relationship to ourselves first in these arenas. So what this looks like is you writing a list of all the things that you feel particularly and specifically are unmet in the relationship from others that you're feeling isolated around. So this may look like, okay, because I'm isolated more so than usual, and isolation can take many different forms, right? It could be that you're feeling isolated because you're working from home, or because there was a change in your job situation, or because people are back on lockdowns or quarantines, or, all these different things. And step 1 would look like you sitting down and saying, okay, what am I missing because I'm not seeing people in the same form in person? And maybe you're missing feeling supported. Maybe you're missing feeling seen, heard, emotionally connected to through deep conversations, encouragement, right? Feeling uplifted, like people are validating you, behind you, boosting you up, kind of thing. So what you would do in step one is write a list of these things. And then you would look at, how can I become effective at dispensing these things in the relationship to myself? So self-encouragement might look like, you know what? Writing 5 things every morning that I'm proud of in the relationship to myself or in my life in any of the 7 areas: career, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and relationships, which can be friends, family, or romantic. And putting those things out there is huge in terms of step one. Step two, or not step two, part 2 of step 1. If you have support, right? If support feels missing, how can I make myself feel supported? What was I getting from other people? Did I feel supported when, for example, my partner would cook me a meal? Or did I feel supported when somebody would check in with me and ask how I'm doing? Okay, great. I have to have habits, create habits for me in the relationship to myself to be able to do these things. And the more I do these things and the better I become at them, and the more I build in that trust at the subconscious level by repeating these things regularly, now it becomes my own comfort zone in the relationship to myself. Now I feel like I believe when people also give these things to me, that they're right, that they're real, that they land. I feel worthy and deserving of them because my subconscious comfort zone doesn't feel like they're unfamiliar, right? And uncomfortable to receive. So, you write out these things: encouragement, support. How can I give these to myself? It was to be seen and heard. How can I have a habit to see and hear myself more often, or emotionally connect to myself? Would that be journaling, meditation, doing personal growth work, checking in with my feelings and needs on a regular basis throughout the day? Like, what habits can I come up with to meet my needs in the relationship to self? That's step 1. Step 2, look for how you can communicate these needs to people around you in a healthy way next. So if you know, for example, that maybe you're not seeing people in person as much, or maybe you're not in the office in the same way, or whatever it might be, you can ask for those things over the phone. Hey, I'm feeling a little down. I could use some encouragement. Or, I'm feeling like emotionally disconnected. And, can I just share with you some of what I'm experiencing? Ask for your needs to be met. Don't be afraid to do so. Pick people you trust, obviously, to be vulnerable with. And some people may live in a new city or country, or some people may have been on the rocks with friends and family for different reasons. And some of us have more resources than others to go immediately to that, but that's okay, because step 3 is to actively come up with ways that you can reach out to other people and start building relationships to find those things. And this is, so step 2 is about seeing who you can get these needs met through healthy self-expression and vulnerable self-expression. And step 3 is, if you don't have a lot of relationships in your life with people who can meet these needs now, what steps can you take to build more of these relationships? Do you need to join new online communities, Facebook groups, reach out to people from the past and rebuild relationships? Can you attend meetups online or in person? Can you, there's so many resources out there. And see what is available for you to start actually harvesting and nourishing new relationships, even though it may not be in your preferred form. Maybe not all of us can go in person to things or things like that, but at least, having a beautiful conversation over Zoom that's vulnerable and deep will still get your needs met for connection. So, this type of stuff is like, then what steps and strategies can you take? And then step 4, is to reprogram core wounds associated with isolation. Now, I just want to say as well that you can check out a course for free for 7 days that's all about overcoming the fear of rejection and social anxiety. It's one of our core courses at PDS. There's 7 steps to reprogram in detail a lot of these different things, ways to create a lot of these strategies. Again, like I've mentioned this a few times in other videos, but you can get through a course in 7 days if you put some time into it and like really check it out and really go through it. And, you don't have to finish the whole workbook in that 7 days, but you can like print it off, you can check stuff out. And I highly recommend using these resources that we have available for you guys. And so that course goes very, very in depth, more than I can by far in a 10-minute video. Every course is about 2 hours in content. Some are 3, some are a little over 3, some are an hour, hour and a half, depending on what the course is. But you should have the time to sort of go through some of it. So the very last step here is to reprogram those core wounds associated with isolation. And these are things like belief patterns. I'm abandoned, I'm alone, I'm unloved, I'm unworthy, I'm disconnected. And when you can do the work on some of these things, it actually will help create relief as well. So your mind can get out of being in that like pain, suffering space and fight or flight around a wound being activated and get into like solution focused. Here are my needs. They're not getting that. How can I focus in on them? And what can I do to create healthy action steps and transformation? So I hope this has been a supportive resource for you today. Please let me know in the comments anything else you want to see. Like, what are you going through? What are you experiencing? What needs do you have? Because we're going to be sifting through these comments and trying to create as much support and resources for you guys as possible going through this series, just the different changes people have been feeling, the big shifts, and what your needs are. And I'm going to put a lot of video content out for you guys regarding that. We have a lifetime promotion that we have going on. And essentially what this does is it gives you access to literally all of our 45 plus courses with all of the workbooks that come with it, all of the subconscious reprogramming exercises and tools. It also gives you access to our 4 live webinars per week and our entire social event calendar, which has social events, study groups, guided morning and evening routines, guided reprogramming exercises, technical support help all the time, feedback webinars where we get to chat with the community, social groups, like just literally a ton of stuff. There's essentially like 2 things per day at PDS. And you get that and accessible to you for life. And so that includes all past courses, all upcoming courses, and then of course the 4 live webinars I mentioned that I do every week with our students to answer questions, to add bonus content, and to really do a much deeper dive into just all the questions that people have. So you can check that out. We have a huge promotion going on. It's literally $1,000 off of our lifetime membership. We don't run these that often, so just wanted to put this out here. We get a lot of questions in the inbox all the time about them. And for people who are already members, if you've joined on recently, you can email our team at info@personaldevelopmentschool.com, and you can ask for any sort of discount rates coming in there because you've just recently signed up, and see if that can sort of fold into your lifetime membership payment. There's different payment plans, scholarship options we always have available at PDS if you reach out to our team as well. So check that all out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.